Afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar, and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the country is building the largest database of dairy animals. Foot and mouth disease vaccination to be provided to all dairy animals by 2025. Prime Minister Modi to attend SCO summit in Uzbekistan on 15th and 16th of this month. Issues of regional and global importance are expected to be discussed in the summit. The country is rapidly moving towards jointness of three services. Efforts to have a common logistic node, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The Met Department forecasts heavy rain in Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh over next 3 days. And in football, India to take on Bangladesh in semi-final of SAF Under-17 Championship in Colombo today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said the country is building the largest database of dairy animals and every animal associated with dairy sector is being tagged. Inaugurating the International Dairy Federation World Dairy Summit 2022 in Greater Noida, Mr. Modi said that India's dairy sector is recognized for production by masses rather than mass production. He said India has become the largest producer of dairy products in the world due to the collective efforts of small-scale dairy farmers.
भारत में डेयरी सेक्टर की असली ताकत छोटे किसान है। मास प्रोडक्शन से ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन बाय मासिस की है। भारत में डेयरी सेक्टर से जुड़े अधिकांश किसानों के पास या तो एक पशु है, दो है या तीन पशु है। इन्हीं छोटे किसानों के परिश्रम और उनके पशुधन की वजह से आज भारत पूरे विश्व में सबसे ज्यादा दुग्ध उत्पादन करने वाला देश है.
He said, in 2014, India produced 146 million tons of milk and now it has increased to 210 million tons, which is an increase of about 44%. The Prime Minister said the potential of the dairy sector not only gives impetus to the rural economy, but it is also a major source of livelihood for crores of people across the world. He said unlike other developed countries of the world, in India, the driving force of the dairy sector are the small farmers. Mr. Modi highlighted that the government's focus is to develop a balanced dairy ecosystem. Mr. Modi said the digital revolution witnessed in India has also reached the dairy sector.
भारत में हो रही डिजिटल क्रांति की वजह से डेयरी सेक्टर में ज्यादातर लेन देन बहुत तेजी गति से होने लगी है. भारत की डेयरी कोऑपरेटिव्स की स्टडी, उनके बारे में जानकारी, डेयरी सेक्टर में डेवलप किया गया डिजिटल पेमेंट सिस्टम दुनिया के बहुत से देशों के किसानों के बहुत काम आ सकता है.
The Prime Minister said India is engaged in developing technologies of biometric authentication of the dairy animals, namely Pashu Aadhaar, to enhance the production in the dairy sector. He said in the last few years, lumpy skin disease has been a threat to the cattle and a vaccine has been prepared for this disease indigenously to safeguard their lives. Mr. Modi said plastic has become a menace for the cattle and the government is committed to remove single-use plastic. He said by 2025, foot and mouth disease vaccination will be provided to all dairy animals. The Prime Minister said monoculture is not the only solution in farming and there is a need for diversity. He added that this also applies to animal husbandry. The Prime Minister said that's why today in India, attention is being paid to both indigenous breeds and hybrid breeds. He said Gobar Dhan Yojana is an example of dairy sector development. The 4-day-long summit is a congregation of global and Indian dairy stakeholders, including industry leaders, experts, farmers and policy planners centering around the theme of Dairy for Nutrition and Livelihood. Around 1,500 participants from 50 countries are participating in the summit. The last such summit was held in India about half a century ago in 1974. The Indian dairy industry is unique in the sense that it is based on a cooperative model that empowers small and marginal dairy farmers, especially women. The government has taken multiple steps for the betterment of the dairy sector, resulting in an increase of milk production by more than 44% in the last 8 years. The success story of the Indian dairy industry, accounting for about 23% of the global milk, producing around 210 million tons annually, and empowering more than 8 crore dairy farmers, will be showcased at the summit. Talking exclusively to AIR News, Amit Vyas, Managing Director of Amul Dairy in Anand, Gujarat, said the summit is about sharing of best practices on dairy, emerging technologies in the sector, and how can it empower people through dairy and improve their economic condition.
The dairy is basically livelihood and nutrition for the country. Here we are talking about 2 or 3 cows. It's all about livelihood here in the country. We are trying to share with the world those countries who really want to work. And we are also looking at the countries who have already done some remarkable job. So we are trying to get all those details, all the technology in terms of for the animals or for the plant and machinery. Whatever new research have been done across the world, that will be shared on the platform on the technical discussions. We'll be understanding that and we'll be trying to implement this thing in the country.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 2-day visit to Samarkand of Uzbekistan starting 15th of this month to attend the 22nd meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO. Mr. Modi is visiting the country at the invitation of the President of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev. External Affairs Ministry said the SCO summit will be attended by leaders of SCO member states, Observer State Secretary General of the SCO, Executive Director of the SCO Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, President of Turkmenistan, and others. During the summit, the leaders expected to review the organization's activities over the past 2 decades and discuss the state and prospects of multilateral cooperation in the future. Topical issues of regional and global importance also expected to be discussed at the meeting. Prime Minister Modi is also likely to hold a few bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh said that the country is rapidly moving towards jointness of the 3 services. Speaking at the Indian Army Logistics Seminar in New Delhi today, Mr. Singh emphasized on the common logistics node so that resources of one service can seamlessly be made available to other services. Mr. Singh also stressed on the need to build a robust, secure and speedy logistics supply system to take the economy of the country to greater heights. The minister said India is moving towards becoming a $5 trillion economy. He said the criticality of logistics sustenance is going to increase in the sectors, including battlefield and civil sector in the future.
लॉजिस्टिक्स का दायरा और युद्ध में उनका रोल बढ़ता चला गया। वार की प्रिपेयर्डनेस के अनुरूप राइट टाइम और राइट प्लेस पर राइट क्वालिटी और क्वांटिटी के साथ राइट आइटम्स सेनाओं के पास उपलब्ध हों, इसे इंश्योर करने में मिलिट्री लॉजिस्टिक्स सिस्टम की भूमिका भी स्वाभाविक रूप से बढ़ती गई। वार्स का सामना भले ही दशकों के अंतराल पर करना पड़े, पर मिलिट्री लॉजिस्टिक्स की तैयारी हमें हमेशा रखनी ही पड़ती है।
He said the government has prepared many important policies in order to integrate logistics in the country and to make it self-reliant. This includes emphasis on infrastructure development through National Logistics Policy and PM Gati Shakti platform. Mr. Singh highlighted that the government has taken a series of steps in the logistics and infrastructure field, which has helped in the creation of world-class road, highways and expressways.
The Indian Railways overall revenue has grown by 38% till August 2022 over the corresponding period of last year. The overall revenue of Indian Railways at the end of August this year was around 95,486 crore rupees, showing an increase of 26,271 crore rupees over the same period last year. Railway Ministry said that the revenue from passenger traffic was nearly 25,276 crore rupees, showing an increase of 116% over the corresponding period of last year. Passenger traffic also increased compared to last year in both the segments, reserved as well as unreserved. The growth from the long-distance reserved mail express trains has been sharper than the same in passenger and suburban trains. The ministry also said that other coaching revenue grew by 50%, while goods revenue grew by 20% as compared to the same period of last year. India's COVID vaccination coverage has exceeded 215 crore 26 lakhs so far. More than 4 crore adolescents have been administered with the first dose of vaccine till now. The Union Health Ministry said the active caseload currently stands at over 47,000. India's recovery rate stands at 98.71%. A total of around 6,000 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours.
The district court in Varanasi is expected to issue an order with regard to the maintainability of the plea in the Gyanvapi Sringar Gauri case in a short while from now. Security has been tightened and Section 144 imposed in Varanasi ahead of the court order. Security of the court premises has also been tightened. ADG Law and Order of the state Prashant Kumar said that a state-wide alert has been issued. District Judge A.K. Vishwas had last month reserved the order in the sensitive matter after the hearing completed on the 24th of last month. Both Hindu and Muslim petitioners have appealed to people to maintain peace and harmony. A total of 61 people are allowed to remain in the court premises while the hearing will start. Police Commissioner A. Satish Ganesh has said that prohibitory orders have been issued in the Varanasi Commissionerate and officers have been asked to interact with religious leaders in the respective areas to ensure that peace is maintained. The National Investigation Agency NIA today conducted raids at 60 locations across the country to crack down on gangs and crime syndicates. The 60 locations include places in Delhi, National Capital Region, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. The NIA is conducting an investigation after the Delhi police registered 2 FIRs under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act UAPA against 10 gangsters who belong to the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, the Bambiha gang and the Neeraj Bawana gang. This comes a day after Punjab DGP Gaurav Yadav said that there is a strong nexus between terror groups and the gangsters arrested in the Sidhu Musewala murder case.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has appealed to all the representatives of local body to propagate the achievements of the central government. He was addressing a meeting of Sarpanch and local body representatives in Kalyan parliamentary constituency in Maharashtra. Mr. Thakur underlined that 80 crore people were benefited from PM Garib Kalyan Yojana during the pandemic. The minister reiterated 5 commitments coined by the Prime Minister on his Independence Day address. He expressed confidence that BJP Shiv Sena government in Maharashtra will take the state to the path of development and prosperity. The BJP today criticized Congress leader Rahul Gandhi over a picture posted on his party's Twitter handle. Briefing media in New Delhi, party spokesperson Sambit Patra questioned Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra.
इस तस्वीर के माध्यम से बहुत ही सोच समझ करके कांग्रेस पार्टी ने एक संदेश भेजा है. Those who are associated with a particular ideology, they should be eliminated. They have no place in the politics. ये भारत जोड़ो है, ये आग लगाओ यात्रा है.
The Steel Ministry has invited applications for the National Metallurgist Award 2022 from today. Application will be received from 5 categories through online mode by 11th of next month. The ministry said that the award aims to recognize outstanding contribution of metallurgists working in the iron and steel sector, covering the fields of manufacturing, research, design, education, waste management, energy conservation, and their specific contribution to achieve objectives of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the country is building the largest database of dairy animals, foot and mouth disease vaccination to be provided to all dairy animals by 2025. Prime Minister Modi to attend SCO Summit in Uzbekistan on the 15th and 16th of this month. Issues of regional and global importance are expected to be discussed in the summit. The country is rapidly moving towards jointness of 3 services, efforts to have common logistic node, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The Met Department forecasts heavy rain in Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh over the next 3 days. And in football, India to take on Bangladesh in the semi-final of the SAF Under-17 Championship in Colombo today. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
मुट्ठी भर अंग्रेज और हमारे विशाल देश पर राज करने का स्वप्न देख रहे हैं, पर हम इनके स्वप्न को चकनाचूर कर देंगे.
निकल पड़े स्वाधीनता के पथ भाले, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की सुनी अनसुनी कहानियों के साथ स्वराज हर रविवार रात 9 बजे डीडी नेशनल पर.
प्रतियोगी परीक्षाओं की तैयारी अगर कर रहे हैं आप, तो ऑल इंडिया रेडियो की पेशकश अभ्यास है आपके लिए। इस बार का विषय है एंशिएंट इंडियन हिस्ट्री और आप अपने सवाल हमें 14 सितंबर तक व्हाट्सएप करें 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करें abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News on All India Radio. The India Meteorological Department IMD has warned of heavy rain in Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh for the next 3 days. IMD Director General Mrityunjay Mohapatra said that Odisha is likely to witness more rainfall activities as a fresh cyclonic circulation is likely to brew over the Bay of Bengal around September 17th and 18th.
The low pressure system, which developed over west central and joining northwest Bay of Bengal, moved across south Odisha, northwest Andhra Pradesh, and then south Chhattisgarh. Today, in the early morning, it is centered over south Chhattisgarh and adjoining areas of Bihar and east Madhya Pradesh. It is likely to move northwestwards towards Madhya Pradesh. Under its influence, rainfall has been increased over central India, and there has been heavy to very heavy rainfall during past 24 hours. As for the forecast issued today, there could be active monsoon conditions with rainfall at most places and heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places over Gujarat, South Madhya Pradesh, northern parts of Maharashtra and South Chhattisgarh during next 48 hours. There could be the isolated heavy rainfall over Odisha and West Bengal during the same period.
The IMD has also advised fishermen not to venture into the northwest and the west central Bay of Bengal and along and off Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal coasts due to rough to very rough sea conditions. Heavy rainfall lashed Pune city and its adjoining areas with waterlogging at many places. Pashan and Magarpatta areas of the city received 55.8 and 55.5 millimeters of rainfall respectively. Various areas including Chandan Nagar, Kothrud, Pod Road, Pashan, Vanwadi, BT Kavadere Road, Katraj Garden, Swar Gate witnessed waterlogging. India Meteorological Department has issued an orange alert of heavy to very heavy rainfall in Ghat areas of the district over the next 2 days.
Over the past 25 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series, Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ, reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we will bring you the story of Yellow Revolution in India.
The revolution launched in 1986-1987 to increase the production of edible oil, especially mustard and sesame seeds, to achieve self-reliance is known as the Yellow Revolution. Yellow Revolution targets 9 oil seeds that are groundnut, mustard, soybean, safflower, sesame, sunflower, Niger, linseed and castor. In a bid to reduce the country's dependency on edible oil imports, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 9th of August 2021 announced a national mission on oilseeds and oil palm with an investment of over 11,000 crore rupees for building the ecosystem to boost the domestic production.
खाने के तेल में आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए अब राष्ट्रीय खाद्य तेल मिशन ऑयल पाम का संकल्प लिया गया है। सरकार ये सुनिश्चित करेगी कि किसानों को उत्तम बीज से लेकर टेक्नोलॉजी उसकी हर सुविधा मिले। इस मिशन के तहत ऑयल पाम की खेती को प्रोत्साहन देने के साथ ही हमारी जो अन्य पारंपरिक तिलहन फसलें हैं उसकी खेती को भी विस्तार दिया जाएगा।
Dr. D.K. Yadav, ADG Seeds, ICAR New Delhi said that the government's aim is to make India self-sufficient in the production of oilseeds and edible oils.
You can expect the enhanced yellow revolution. In the laboratory, we are integrating the modern genomic tools now. As the conventional breeding, generally the phenotyping is a problem. So for many of the traits now, the various markers, either it is gene merit markers or the linked markers of different type of markers, they are available. And by using those markers, we are trying to introgress the desired traits in our mustard material.
In collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Education, All India Radio established farm and home units at several stations. Farmers' popular Kisan Vani programs across the country have mounted sustained campaigns on government's incentives for farmers for augmenting edible oil cultivation under the National Mission on Oilseeds and Oil Palm. Farmers learned about water and soil management, social forestry, environmental protection, new high-yield seeds and farming methods. Farmers received timely weather advisories and could even take courses on agriculture via All India Radio.
At least 6 people died in a road accident in Korba district of Chhattisgarh this morning. The accident took place near Midday Ghat on the National Highway when a bus going from Raipur to Sitapur collided with the trailer. 3 other people were injured in the incident, out of which 2 are in critical condition. Both the seriously injured persons have been referred to Korba District Hospital.
Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena has cleared a proposal to forward to CBI a complaint over alleged corruption in the procurement of 1,000 low-floor buses by the DTC. Official sources confirmed it, saying a complaint was received by the LG Secretariat in the matter of alleged gross irregularities in the procurement of low-floor buses. A complaint was made to the LG that the appointment of the Delhi Transport Minister as the chairman of the Committee for Tendering and Procurement of Buses by Delhi Transport Corporation was done in a premeditated manner. It was also alleged that the appointment was done with an aim to facilitate wrongdoing. The BJP criticized the AAP following Delhi LG's approval of CBI probe into the alleged corruption in the procurement of low-floor buses. Talking to reporters in New Delhi, party spokesperson Gaurav Bhatia alleged that the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and corruption have become synonymous. The Aam Aadmi Party has criticized the Delhi Lieutenant Governor over the approval for a CBI probe. A.N. Shamsir of the ruling CPM-led Left Democratic Front has been elected the new Speaker of the Kerala Assembly today. Mr. Shamsir is the 24th Speaker of the House. Election of a new Speaker was necessitated following induction of former incumbent M.B. Rajesh into the State Cabinet. The Delhi High Court has given relief to Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Chief and former Jharkhand Chief Minister Shibu Soren in the matter of disproportionate assets. The court stayed the ongoing hearing against the JMM chief before the Lokpal. Mr. Soren had challenged the proceedings and order of the Lokayukt directing preliminary inquiry by the Central Bureau of Investigation or CBI on the grounds of jurisdiction.
Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs of France, Catherine Colonna, will reach India tomorrow on a 3-day official visit. During a stay in New Delhi, Ms. Colonna will hold talks with the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, on Wednesday on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. On the next day, Ms. Colonna will travel to Mumbai and meet industry leaders. The External Affairs Ministry said India and France have a long-standing strategic partnership strengthened by regular high-level consultations and growing convergences in various areas. The ministry said Ms. Colonna's visit will pave the way for further strengthening of the partnership across trade, defense, climate, migration and mobility, education and health sectors. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a meeting with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud in Riyadh yesterday. They discussed current global political and economic concerns and agreed to work closely together in G20 and multilateral organizations. They co-chaired the Political, Security, Social and Cultural Committee of the India-Saudi Partnership Council. Dr. Jaishankar called on Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Jeddah in the evening. During the meeting, Dr. Jaishankar apprised him of the progress in India-Saudi Arabia relations and thanked him for sharing his vision of bilateral ties. Dr. Jaishankar also addressed diplomats at the Prince Saud Al Faisal Institute of Diplomatic Studies in Riyadh. The minister underlined the importance of the India-Saudi strategic relationship at a time when the world is at crossroads. He said India-Saudi Arabia collaboration holds the promise of shared growth, prosperity, stability, security and development.
Embassy of India in Beijing has issued detailed advisory highlighting various challenges for prospective students seeking medical degree from China. In wake of thousands of Indian students waiting for their return to their Chinese colleges for past 2.5 years, the clarifying advisory was issued in response to several queries from prospective Indian students and their parents. More than 20,000 Indian students, mostly enrolled in medical courses in Chinese universities, are waiting to return to China for more than 2.5 years due to COVID-related restrictions and a ban on direct flights to and from India. China has now started giving visas, but due to non-availability of direct flights, it is very costly affair to travel to China through transit route. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India is on the path to becoming a powerhouse driving global growth by 2047. The minister said this while interacting with the business community of Southern California in the United States. Mr. Goyal added that the transformational work happening in India has taken the country to the 5th spot among world economies. He mentioned that CII estimates India in 2047 to be a $35 to $45 trillion economy, taking it into the league of developed nations. The Commerce Minister said conclusion of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework is an important milestone for a free and fair trade with like-minded countries.
In football, India will take on Bangladesh in the SAF Under-17 Championship semi-final at the Racecourse International Stadium in Colombo today. The match starts at 3:30 p.m. Indian time. Despite the loss against Nepal on Friday, India made it to the semi-finals as the second-place team in Group B on the back of its 3-0 win over Bhutan in the opening match on the 5th of this month. Meanwhile, Bangladesh have made it to the semis on the back-to-back wins against Sri Lanka and Maldives in Group A. The Sensex and the Nifty today witnessed gains of more than 0.5% in the afternoon trade. Both stock indices rose in sync with gains in the global share markets. The Sensex was trading above the 60,000 mark, while the Nifty was trading near the 17,950 level. The Sensex climbed 361 points or 0.6% to trade at 60,154. The Nifty also surged 109 points or 0.61% to trade at 17,942 when reports last came in. In the forex market, the rupee also appreciated 7 paise to trade at 79 rupees and 51 paise against the US dollar in the afternoon deals.
Now let us have a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi will have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 27 and maximum will be around 37 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky with a possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 31 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 35 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 29 degrees. Jammu and Srinagar will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Muzaffarabad will also have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh and Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky and generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the country is building the largest database of dairy animals. Foot and mouth disease vaccination to be provided to all dairy animals by 2025. Prime Minister Modi to attend SCO summit in Uzbekistan on 15th and 16th of this month. Issues of regional and global importance are expected to be discussed in the summit. The country is rapidly moving towards jointness of three services. Efforts to have a common logistic node, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The Met Department forecasts heavy rain in Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh over next 3 days. And in football, India to take on Bangladesh in semi-final of SAF Under-17 Championship in Colombo today. With that, we end the Midday News.